Sister stood up at her own engagement dinner just to say I'd never be loved like she was, but she was unprepared for my comeback. The restaurant was packed with friends, family, and her fiancé's relatives, all gathered around one long table covered in champagne flutes and too many candles. Everyone was buzzing with congratulations for her, and I smiled through it, determined to just be happy for her. But my sister, Julia, has never been able to resist digging into me. The first jab came when her fiancé's mother complimented my dress. "Oh, this old thing?" Julia cut in, laughing too loudly. "She's had it for years. I keep telling her to invest in something flattering." I gritted my teeth. "Thank you, Mrs. Whitman. I'm glad you like it." Mrs. Whitman gave me a kind smile, clearly uncomfortable. Julia smirked like she'd scored a point. Later, when the waiter poured wine, Julia leaned over the table. "Careful," she said loudly enough for half the table to hear. "Sarah can't hold her liquor. One glass, and she'll start crying about being single again." A few people chuckled awkwardly. My face burned. I was used to Julia's cruelty ever since high school. She needed to assert that she was the pretty one, the successful one, the one destined for more. Normally, I'd let it slide. Tonight, though, she was performing for an audience, and it stung sharper than usual. I swallowed it down, for Mom's sake, for Dad's sake, for the sake of not ruining Julia's night. But then dessert came, and with it, Julia's piece de resistance. She stood, tapping her glass with a fork. The room fell silent as she raised her champagne flute, glowing with self-satisfaction. "Just want to thank everyone for being here tonight to celebrate me and David," she began sweetly. "I've dreamed of this moment for so long, and it's everything I hoped for." Everyone clapped politely. Julia basked in it like a queen. Then her eyes locked on me. I felt the trap before she even sprung it. "And you know," she said, tilting her head with faux sympathy, looking at my sister across the table, "it makes me grateful. Grateful that I found someone who loves me completely. Someone who actually wants me." She paused, her lips curling into a cruel smile. "Because some people may never know what that feels like. Not everyone is destined to be loved the way I am." For a moment, I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. My own sister, at her engagement dinner, had stood up just to announce that I was unlovable. And then something inside me snapped. I stood. My chair screeched against the floor, and every head turned toward me. My voice came out steady, louder than I expected. "You're right, Julia," I said. "Not everyone will be loved the way you are. Some of us are loved differently, not for appearances, not for putting on a show, and certainly not for humiliating family to make ourselves feel superior." Her smirk faltered. "You say you're loved? Love isn't about being put on a pedestal, Julia. It's about kindness, respect, support. You might have a ring on your finger, but what you don't have is real love. Because if you did, you wouldn't need to crush me in front of everyone to prove it." The room went deathly quiet. David's parents exchanged looks. My father gave a single nod, proud but silent. Julia's face twisted. "You're just jealous." "No," I cut her off sharply. "I'm relieved. Relieved that I'm not you. Relieved that I don't measure my worth by how loudly I can belittle someone else." I took a breath. "If being loved like you means becoming cruel, then I'll take being unloved any day." Julia's cheeks flushed crimson. She sputtered, then sat down hard, slamming her glass on the table. David shifted uncomfortably beside her, his jaw tight. For the rest of the dinner, he wouldn't even look at her. And me? I sat taller than I ever had, finally free from the shadow of her poison. Because Julia was right about one thing. I'll never be loved the way she is. Thank God for that.